Welcome back, everyone, to the Charismatic Voice. I am joined today by the lovely Cristina Scabbia.
Hi.
Did I say your name
Hello.
okay?
Perfectly, perfectly. Great pronunciation.
I'm working on it. I know there's that double B there in Italian, and that can be a little daunting sometimes. And then you think, oh, but does the accent go here or here? So why don't you say it one time just so everybody hears the perfect
It
pronunciation?
was actually perfect because many people say scabbia, which
Oh,
is wrong because it's scabbia. In Italian, the right pronunciation is scabbia. Cristina Scabbia. That's very
perfect.
Italian. But yeah, and you have to do this in order to
Scabbia.
pronounce it properly. Yeah, Cristina Scabbia. That's the perfect pronunciation.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking time. I know
My
you've been
pleasure.
crazy on tours. You've been super busy and recording things, and we'll talk about all that. But thank you for making time in your busy schedule for this.
Thank you. It's the same for you. I know you've been traveling a lot, so I'm glad that we found, some time to finally meet.
Yeah, and this is actually the very first time we're doing a tea time interview from our new place, which is exciting.
And I
And
see something behind you, which makes it even crazier that this is the very first time that you're in that studio, because that statue behind you looks
this
like
one.
one that I have at home as well.
Oh, really? Do tell me about your
Yeah.
statue.
Yeah, I have the same statue. I got it as a Christmas gift
Oh
from
my
my
gosh.
boyfriend, who ordered it because I mean he knows that I love Diablo. He loves Diablo, and I guess he sees me as a sort of a Lilith. And when I opened the box, I almost passed out because it's so beautiful.
Right.
So I'm glad that you have the same. I approve.
This is also a Christmas gift for my husband. So obviously,
Perfect. Perfect. And Diablo is coming out on my birthday on June 6th. So how are the odds? So crazy.
yes.
That's amazing.
I have
That
to
is
say
amazing.
I have blocked off. It's about 5 or 6 days from my schedule. I very rarely truly take time off,
Yeah.
but the release of Diablo 4, I think, merits taking some
I
time
gotta be
off.
home.
Right? It's like, get a babysitter. We're going to play this.
Bye. I'm gonna leave.
Right. So, do you have any plans around playing Diablo
Well,
4 when it comes out?
the thing that it's coming out on my birthday makes it different because my boyfriend had plans to kidnap me for a mysterious location. And
Oh,
the first thing I told him, I was just like, but Diablo 4 is coming out. And it was like, do not worry. We're going to bring the computer. We're going to be playing. Don't worry. I was like, okay,
oh
then
my
we can
goodness.
wherever you want.
Oh, that's going to be wonderful. That I had the beta was out on my birthday,
Yeah.
and so it was
Yep.
really fun to see.
Crazy.
Right? Oh
Crazy.
my goodness. Oh, it was very fun, and I love the music in it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
I love that the vibe is still the same, but it's so much better. I loved it. I loved it. I can't wait to dig in more.
We've been waiting a long time for this to happen.
I know. I know.
It'll
I
be
know,
good.
a long time. A long time, even if along the way I have to say that I entertained myself with something musical related to Diablo as well.
Right?
Because yeah, yeah, because I had the chance to sing a song, an official song for Diablo 2 Resurrected when it came out for Italy, and that was pretty awesome because I mean, seeing my face on Battle.net was like, okay, if you would have asked me like a couple of years prior to this, I would have said, nah, no.
Right? That's an amazing life
Instead,
dream achieved.
it's crazy. It's kind of crazy.
That's so awesome. You are the only singer that I actually had felt comfortable with asking in a video if you would do an interview with me or if you would be willing to have a tea time chat because I just I knew that you're really into video games and of course you're incredible in music and there were just so many awesome overlaps. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna put it out there and cross my
I'm
fingers.
really, really happy you did. I really appreciate.
I love it. Well, you know what? I skipped over the one of the first questions we often have, which is tea or coffee. What do you prefer?
Well, I like both of them. Usually I'm more of a coffee person because I mean it's the first thing that I do in the morning. But in the evening, I am a tea person because I don't drink coffee past 4 p.m. Because it keeps me up. I drink a lot of coffee
Yes.
before 4 p.m. So I am a tea person for the second half of the day. And
Which
I
it is
like
for
it very
you.
much. Yes, yes, it is. Now it's evening, so I want to thank you for all the tea that you sent. I already have my favorites.
Ooh,
I cheated. Well, first thing first, a chamomile, so it's perfect in the evening.
yes.
And I prepared it prior to talking to you because apparently you have to leave it in infusion not more than 6 minutes, or it's going to be working as caffeine. So I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm gonna prepare it after and bring it with me, or I'm gonna be hyped for the rest of the evening. I was like, okay, but better be careful. And my other favorite, it's Lady Grey. I
Oh my gosh.
love it. I love Lady Grey. This is
Me
one of my favorite
too.
teas ever. But thank you so much. There's so many. I can't wait to try them all.
Good. I'm really glad. It's
Dragon mint is
oh
also
right.
tempting because of the name. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is, but it's like, okay, I'm into it.
I know exactly. Exactly. It says dragon, so it's got to
It
be great.
works. It
Love
works.
it. Yeah, I've got this is morning here, so I do have some Yunnan. For me, the Yunnan black teas have a lot of they pack some nice caffeine, but they also have this like very robust yet like malty chocolatey undertones, and
Mm.
I'm all about dessert for breakfast.
Do you drink it as it is or like sugar, honey, milk?
I don't put any sugar or
Any
honey in it, but I do put cream. I really like cutting my black tea with a little bit of cream. I even do that to Lady Grey and Earl Grey, but usually a little less in that case. But apparently that's sacrilege, I found out.
No, no, that can't be because they drink it like this in the UK. And I
Mm,
mean, when you think about UK, you think about tea.
yeah,
So if
exactly.
they do it, I think we're allowed to do that. I like it too. I like cream in my tea. I like it with honey.
Mm,
I drink a lot of honey. I drink.
yeah.
Well, I put it in my beverages. I really like honey.
Is that because it feels really good on your throat? Do you feel like it helps your singing or just because you like
No,
it?
no, it's just the taste.
Hmm.
I really like the taste. I also think that it works, smoothing my voice when needed.
Hmm.
When I'm on tour, for example, when I'm having troubles, I am drinking a mixture of ginger, which is really good
Oh,
for your throat. You know that. Fresh lemon juice and honey. And then I add hot water. So it's kind of like a very pleasant tea that it's kind of curative somehow,
yeah,
even
and
if
it
it stings.
steams.
It steams, but it's also stings because when your throat is not in shape, ginger can be hell. Can really be hell.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but it, but it, but it works. But it really works. But I left just a teeny tiny bit of chamomile because I just like the look, but I removed most of it. And
Oh, and you can do like a tea leaf reading when we're done. I don't know. I've never done that before, though. I think it'd be interesting to learn about it.
hmm,
Well, I've read a lot about you, but it's really interesting when I read about you. Almost everything focuses on about the time you started your career, which I think you were 19 years old. And basically from then on, and it really focuses on what you've done with Lacuna Coil in early days as well, when the band had a different name. But before then, I actually didn't find tons of information. So, can I ask you a little bit about
sure,
childhood and what
sure.
some of your influences were?
Absolutely. Well, you didn't find anything because I was not in the business. Definitely not into rock metal.
Hmm.
Um, you mentioned 19 years old, and that's actually when I, let's say, started to become more professional, but in something completely different.
Mhm.
Because back then, I had many friends that were DJing uh,
Oh.
that knew about the fact that I could sing, but I didn't want to be in the band. I didn't want to have a musical career. It was not in my dreams, but it seems like in my life, there was always a sort of a choice in between, just like, don't take this path, do this and sing,
Mm-hmm.
in different ways, whether it was for a project with some friends that were putting out a record, whether it was, I don't know, my parents asking me, I was just like, oh, sing this for this person. I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to," but everybody was really insisting. So I got to the point that I almost convinced myself. I was just like, maybe life is telling me something, maybe. Um, but I wasn't back then interested in a career, because I wasn't interested in that musical style. It was more into
Oh.
disco music, like projects for clubs, stuff in which you usually get in the studio, record your voice for like, I don't know, an hour or two, and then they take bits and pieces, and
Ah.
they put it together with some music, which was
Mm-hmm.
okay for clubs, but I was just like, I don't want to do, I don't want to do this in life. Um, I changed my mind when I met the guys in Lacuna Coil in '93. But
Mm-hmm.
before that, I didn't do much. I mean, there is my voice on some records of some DJs. Sometimes I was just like singing in clubs, hiding behind the console of my DJ friends, singing
Mm-hmm.
over some of the songs. Um, but yeah, that was not a dream of mine, which is something strange, because many
Yeah.
people I know, many artists I know, are they had the dream of becoming singer of a band or single artists, and this is something that I never thought about
That's really
until I met the
interesting.
guys. I like teamwork. I like the fact that we move as a family. I like, to make music with other people.
Hmm. So, how did you get to the point where you were good enough to sing professionally? Was there some training in there, or was it just total talent?
I don't think I am that great in singing. I mean, I never took lessons.
Oh, I beg to differ. You're
Uh,
really great.
but thank you. That I wanted to take lessons, but then I always, I don't know, I always did something else, and then I went on tour, and then I was too
Hmm.
lazy when I was back home, and I just didn't. Or maybe I was afraid that it would change my vocal style somehow, because I didn't
Oh.
want to become too classic somehow for the genre
Wow.
we were doing. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
it makes sense. It's probably more
No.
to do with the laziness, but this was also in my mind as well. So
Okay.
I do not think I'm good enough to do that. I'm good for Lacuna Coil, but I don't see myself, as the greatest singer or the person that learned everything about singing.
But
Uh,
you certainly have developed your voice in a way that sounds fantastic. And like you mentioned in there that you were a singer for Lacuna Coil, and there's a specific style that it sounds like you're wanting to hone in on in there. So when you think about experimentation as you were maybe developing your own voice in your time, to get to the sound for Lacuna Coil, were there certain things that you felt like you valued more, like being on pitch, or things like maybe you wanted your vibrato to come in at a different time or have less of it? Any thoughts like that?
yeah, I always thought that what I wanted to convey through my voice was literally my heart.
Mm.
Um, I if I think about the singers that I appreciate in general, I almost never listen to the technique. I never listen to, the perfect pitch or how good they are technically. I was always attracted by singers that would try to describe what they're singing, telling me a story.
Mm.
I was always trying to feel their vibe. I was always wondering, like, I wonder how they felt when they sung that part, if they were
Oh.
feeling sad, if they were really feeling happy. but not just pure technique, which is, of course, amazing, and you have to be good in order to achieve it. But usually what attracted me was the emotion into the voice that I was hearing. And I always tried to do the same thing, to try to convey the emotion, which is
Yeah.
not always easy, because especially during a recording, it's a pain in the ass, because the recording is really, really stressful for me.
Hmm.
Because you know that you have a deadline, you know
Uh-huh.
that you have that amount of days dedicated to the recording of the vocals. You might feel sick, you might feel tired, you might have something going on, I don't know, at home, and your mind is not clear. So it's complicated, because you also think that what you're going to be recording is going to be staying there forever. So whenever I listen to records we do, I'm always like, oh, I could have done this better. Ugh. Mm, damn it. I
Ooh.
wish I could have had more time. And sometimes you write things in the studio and you're not 100% comfortable with it, because sometimes you get comfortable with a song. The more you sing it live, the more you bring it on the road with you, the more you listen to it.
Hmm.
And sometimes, I mean, we write them, and after a short period we go in the studio and we record it forever. So even if we rehearse a bit, it's not just like playing the same song for years.
Man,
Then it really become yours.
that is so very true. I feel that one of the hardest things is to get a song to its apex, to the tip top shape for the big, whatever the big performance is. If that's recording, if that is a live performance somewhere, you can't really get there without performing it a bunch first. And it's this almost like contradictory thing. If I'm going to premiere the song somewhere, everyone wants it to be the best first time, but you can't have the best first time because you don't know how the song really works just yet. It takes really simmering for years before you get to that.
Absolutely. It gets to because when you perform it for years, it gets to the point you don't even think about the song
Mhm.
lyrics. You think about the vibe, because the
Yeah.
words are coming out naturally. But when you're recording, you have to focus on the pitch of your voice, on the lyrics you're singing, the right pronunciation in my case, because I'm not, mother tongue. Uh, it's many, many things together that
Mhm.
cannot guarantee, just like a smooth recording. Obviously, when you put it out, people will hear that recording and it will be
Yep.
okay, because that's the one they hear. It's okay. But you know that it could have done it better.
Right?
You know.
I feel like this is such an advantage, actually, that I hadn't thought as much about before until now. Where when you're training for opera, a lot of times you know that at some point in your career, you're going to do a certain role. There's only so many operas out there that are regularly done. So if you're a certain voice type, at some point, you're likely going to do one of the most commonly performed roles for your voice type. So for me, I knew I was going to do Violetta back in college. We already knew that my voice would eventually go there. So I started working on it really early. And that meant that I got to work on her big songs, her big arias in the opera for years before I finally tackled the role. That meant I got simmering time on it, and I got to play around with those a bunch to figure out exactly where I wanted to sit with them. And that's just not something that you get to do when you're recording a song for an album. That new album's about to come out. You haven't gone and played that everywhere on tour for years yet. So, man, I almost wish we could switch those things up a little bit.
That would be great. That would be great. I mean, that's the you know the plus and cons of being a singer, because I mean it's like we have two instruments, because we need to care about the tone, which would be the
Mhm.
natural sound for, I don't know, guitar players or
Right?
flutist, but we also have to sing, we also have
Uh-huh.
to to say words in the meantime.
Man, speaking of tone and timbre, I remember I heard you. I'd say that it was really in Swamped, in this live performance of Swamped, that I totally fell in love with your voice. It just was stunning. From the very first
Thank
moment
you.
you open your mouth, you just have one of the prettiest natural timbres. It's gorgeous. Was that something that you feel like you just were born with? Or did you ever think, oh, I want to round my tone out, or maybe make it a little brighter, more piercing, more powerful? Did you try to expand it, or did you just say like, oh, wow, I'm lucky, I've got a really pretty tone?
No, I don't think that much, honestly. I just tried, to put some vocals on the music, and we all liked it, and we kept it. Maybe the fact that I'm coming from a family that was listening to completely different genres forged me uh, in a different way, because I was not raised as a metalhead. So in my head, everything could happen in a song.
Uh-huh.
That even things that were not necessarily metal.
What were you
Fine, let's
raised as?
try.
Like, what kind of music?
I am the last one of four. And my oldest brother was listening to music like Genesis, the
Okay.
Beatles, Zeppelin. My sister was listening to traditional Italian music.
Oh, wow.
My other brother was listening to electronic music uh, from the 80s. I don't know, Soft Cell, Morrissey. And then he started to listening to rap.
Huh.
I've listened to pretty much everything. I mean, the heaviest thing was a record of AC/DC. I mean, metal is something that I discovered lately.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So
And
strange.
that's really interesting. Yeah, that's quite a hodgepodge of different
Yeah,
styles.
very,
Oh.
very strange. Yeah, very peculiar. That's why when I entered metal, for me, it was almost no pressure, because I didn't have the stress of comparing myself to others. I didn't have the stress of saying, "Ooh, what if the community thinks that I'm not metal enough?" I never thought about this. I mean, I don't think about it now, but even less when I started. I joined the band because I liked the guys in it. I loved the music that I was listening to, the pub that I was going to, from
Uh-huh.
Pantera, Clawfingers, Halloween, Typo Negative, Paradise Lost. But I never had the pressure of like, I gotta be right for the metal world.
That's awesome. But then along the way, I think you essentially, by having no pressure, you establish this really unique sound that is yours. And then you also have this incredible collaborator, right? Andrea bringing in the harsh vocals and this extraordinary combination of two completely different sounds. And you
Yeah.
end up establishing essentially a sound that is new in metal, and a lot of other people ended up following in your footsteps.
Which is pretty cool, because I mean, I like, to somehow pass the torch to others, because I mean, when we started, we were inspired by other bands, like Typo Negative, Paradise Lost,
Mm-hmm.
and others, but then we made our own sound. So I'm happy if someone can be inspired by us and forge their own sound. I mean, I think it happens to any band. Uh, I don't think that there is anybody who creates something brand new out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of something that you heard, something that inspired you, something that you are bringing, whether is your particular voice, or I don't know, your style, whatever your attitude. But it's a mixture. I mean, I love contaminations. I love collaborations, because there is always coming something cool coming out of them.
Oh, totally. Totally. Man, and you've also done a ton of collaborations. I know Megadeth is one that was really interesting to me, and also Arion too. Was it The Parting that you played the mother in the role with
I played
Arion?
Mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it ends. It's time to let go. My spirit is crushed, forsaken and cold. only you. No tears left to cry. You'll never change. I made up my mind. This is goodbye.
Arion is so awesome. That was I was very, very honored because I mean I know that Arion is really selective with the singers that he picks up. So when he asked me, I was just like, "Are you sure? Maybe there's another Cristina. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you just like picked the phone and typed Cristina, but it was another Cristina." And it was like, no, I really want you to sing on this record. And it was amazing. I went at his house, at his old house. And it was me, him, his wife, and his dog. And he has this little studio within the house. And it was a great experience because he's such a great songwriter. His mind, I don't know, is like, I don't know. It's crazy how good he is in creating music. So I was stoked and honored to be part of this project.
I feel like so many roads in metal, and eventually all roads in metal lead back to Arion. There's some sort of connection, right?
He's a magnet. He's a metal magnet.
It's just really exciting. And I know what you mean about his mind being totally brilliant. What a fascinating
It's insane.
person.
Insane. He has everything in his mind. He knows what's going to happen.
And for me, having worked with lots of different composers too, on the other side, on the operatic side, lots of different conductors, which Arion essentially is playing the role of both. He just seems to know how to work with singers. I love the way he coaxes certain sounds out of singers, knows how to leave a singer to be free, and knows when they maybe could go a little bit further and want a little nudge. He just seems to have so much respect and love for the craft and know how to work with a singer so you get a great sound with him.
Yes, and it's perfect because, I mean, having everything in his head helps you as a singer because obviously if I sing Lacuna Coil songs, I know exactly how I want to sound, what I like most of what I'm doing. But when you're collaborating with someone, and especially when a guy writes parts that are going to be sung for from a female, it's very strange because the tone is completely different. The way you're going to be articulating your sound is completely different. So it's an extra challenge, but he was very good in directing. And that helped me a lot because maybe something that to me could have been okay, maybe for him was awesome or awful, but I knew it right away. And he was just like, okay, this is so cool. But maybe in this part, I mean, because I imagined this, I imagined this mood. It's amazing. It's kind of like a photographer during a photo shoot that tells you exactly in which direction to move because he sees the final picture and he knows where he wants to get. I love it. I really liked it. When someone who sees the final result kind of guides you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is strange because I'm really independent, but I think that when you're creating something with someone else, you kind of have to leave them the creative space, and you have to be, the most awesome tool for their creation. Bringing your own personality, obviously, it's still you, but it's something that has been created with something in mind, and I like, to be there for it.
Oh, that's so well said. I wanted to talk about what makes a good colleague or a good collaborator, and I think you just answered that for us.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it has to click. Usually, I mean, all the collaborations that I did were all nice. I mean, I'm a people person. I like to talk. I'm very open, so I never create any problem or friction. But definitely it helps if from the other side, I mean, you find people who are open to talk and are just in a nice mood. But it's really hard, to get requests from assholes. So
Yeah, I feel like one of the big golden rules is be nice.
yes, exactly.
Be nice.
The basics. So just people like it never happened. Like, hey, come sing in my song. Never happened.
And it's helpful if you have common interests like video games. Like that's a good thing to, build
Totally.
a friendship and possibly a musical collaboration off of.
Absolutely. It does.
What I know when you travel, I read up in different interviews, like you like to travel with a Switch, right?
Yep.
So what are the games you play on that? And is that something that the whole band gets involved in playing as well?
Well, I mean, now on my Switch, I have different ones, old and good games. I got a couple of the latest Super Mario games, which I still have to start, that I actually got from Nintendo for the release of the new movie. So they've been so kind to send me a couple of games, and I'm going to try them. We have many Pokemon games because we are Pokemon players. Also with Pokemon Go, traveling a lot. I mean, we go out with a smartphone,
Oh, do you?
catching Pokemons, collecting
Oh my
them.
gosh.
Yeah,
That's
collecting
so much fun. Yeah, where you go like,
legendaries and the regional. Exactly, the regional ones. Then what did I put on? I put the new Bayonetta on called Cereza and the Lost Demon.
Okay.
I am playing Life is Strange because I'm still finishing it. And I have one that it's extremely awkward, but I like awkward games, called Bus Simulator. So
Bus?
basically you're driving a bus. You're driving a bus and that's it. And yeah.
Because
yeah.
touring in a bus isn't enough. We need a bus simulator.
Exactly. That's some exception right there. I'm driving a bus in a bus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I like games that are sometimes nonsense.
Yeah.
There was I had another one, but I took it out. I don't know if it's the right word, excavator simulator. Damn it, it's not excavator.
Escalator maybe, or
No. It's something that you use to remove the damn it, when you're doing constructions. That heavy thing that goes like and lift up a grass and damn it.
the thing with the big claw. Why I can't remember the word for it either right now. It's,
but that
brain farts are international.
I can't remember. I said excavator because it's called escavatore in Italian.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny. I can't, but excavator actually kind of makes sense. I see where that word developed into English. That's really interesting.
It digs into the
oh my goodness. Everybody in the live chat during the live premiere right now is going to be giving us the word, and
yes, so they're going to be like, what? I mean, that person is weird. Well, yes.
Right.
It is true. Moment. It is true. It is true. I'm also enjoying a Power Wash Simulator, but it's not on Twitch yet, which sucks.
So you like simulators a lot?
I do not necessarily like simulators, but when they are like fun, I mean, I like to laugh for the smallest things ever. So for me, it was just like bus simulator. I gotta have it. Maybe I play 5 minutes, but it's funny. Makes me so happy that someone thought about creating a game in which you were driving a bus.
Did you ever play this goose one? This goose who's just a total jerk. It's like a goose simulator, and he goes around and messes with people. No, okay, it's really funny.
No, there is Goat Simulator.
Oh, Goat Simulator's funny
Goat Simulator. I have it. I have the zombie one as well. But I don't have many simulators. Yeah, only the weirdest ones.
That's perfect. And then obviously Diablo,
yes, but I do not have it on the Switch. I have some of the Assassin's Creed.
Oh my gosh! Talk about great music too.
I have the collection. I have the collection on. Then what else? Uh, I still have Immortal Phoenix Rising, Crash
Zelda.
Bandicoot, Splatoon.
Oh, Splatoon. What about Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild? Did you play that on
I
Switch?
started it, but I didn't continue it,
Oh,
which sucks because I mean it's a game that I definitely want to dig in, and I love Zelda, but I never finished it. Never
huh.
finished it.
That was one of just the most beautiful games I
It's
was seeing on a Switch. It was super extraordinary.
it's so crazy because you can interact even with trees. You can climb on trees. It's like that was so new
And it had
when it
real
came
life
out, and
consequences. Like if I'm gonna set something on fire, like eventually it's gonna burn me. It doesn't just stay up. I found that very amusing.
it is a great game. I mean, it's all the success is all justified.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. New coming out soon?
Yeah. Yeah. Is there another one coming out?
Yeah,
Oh, I haven't been following that.
yeah.
Oh,
I can't remember the date, but it's gonna be coming out soon.
that's great. So you end up spending most of your time playing games on your Switch, partly because you're touring a lot, but when you come home, do you switch to PC?
I mostly play on PS5. That's where the
Ah,
majority of my games are, but I basically have every support because I have a PS5, I have a PS4, I have a Xbox S and X, I have a PC, a home PC, and I have two
mhm.
Switches. So I'm covered. I'm covered.
That's awesome. I am feeling the pain sometimes because my primary computer is a Mac, which is great for video and music creative purposes, which is why
Yeah.
I have a Mac. But it is not great for video
And
games.
yeah, every time you say I'm playing video games with my Mac, you're gonna kill 10 gamers.
I know exactly.
I've seen faces like,
How dare
don't
you?
say it
Yes.
anymore.
I mean, it ran Diablo 3 just fine, but it's looking like Diablo 4 isn't going to be supported. So I was playing that. Well, my husband had it on his PC and we were looking at that, but then I tried it out on the Xbox for the beta, which was fun, but it just didn't feel the same. So now we're like thinking like, oh, is there a chance this will run on an old PC that we have? Maybe we could get that set up. So for the release, this is obviously a big concern with this upcoming release.
Of course, the main preoccupation. I have to say that I played the beta with the PS5, and I actually liked it very
Mm-hmm.
much because when I play with PC, I do not use the keyboard. I do
Oh,
not play on the classic way. I always use
uh-huh.
a joypad, and
Oh.
being very comfortable with a PS5 DualSense, I
Mhm.
like playing with it.
There was something really relaxing about sinking back into a couch with it because normally I feel a little more intense.
Yes.
Diablo, I'm must make it through this rift really, really quickly, right? This kind of thing. But I guess it was definitely more chill on the
Mm.
couch with an Xbox, but I'm still not sure. I'm not sure what I want my experience to be. Do I want it to be like the
We should try play Diablo, but maybe with some fun music in the headphones just to see the because soundtracks are so important. So
right? And
I think it would be relaxing, like some Zen music while we play Diablo. That would be awkward.
I'll put some like ELO on, which is one of my big jams right now is ELO because it's just so fun and
Yeah.
optimistic.
Yeah, or I don't know, Britney Spears while play Diablo.
I don't know if I can imagine that one.
One more. That would be
Oh, hey, there you go. You're like, yeah, because it's, essentially like bashing something over and over and over. Like, this is a bad demon.
yeah.
Right? That
Kill
makes
your
sense.
demons one more time.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. But speaking of video game soundtracks and why they are so important, holy cow, Hellsinger is so cool. The entire conception of that game is awesome. And then you in that game is even more awesome. Can you talk about that and working on it and how
Sure.
exciting that is?
It is very exciting, and it's such a pleasure for me to be part of a video game and a video game in which you have to shoot monsters, and time in the perfect time
Mhm.
with some metal music. So the two words are colliding once again. Basically, what happened last year, I was in Germany for Gamescom.
Oh,
I was
nice.
I was there, visiting people that I know, checking out all the news, and I found out that some friends were playing a special show. It was a big event for the release of Metal Hellsinger, and they organized a huge concert in this hangar that was inside Gamescom, but was like almost a separate area. It was great. I mean, the sound was not perfect because it's not an area that is made for concert, so it was
Mhm.
a little bit echoing, but I think that the sound guys did a great job. And whoever sung on that stage, from Matthew of Trivium, Alisa,
Mhm.
Archenemy, and many others did a fantastic job. It was very entertaining. The production was huge. Uh, it was really cool to watch. So I went there to watch the event, to watch the concert and say hi to some friends. But then at the end of the concert, I went backstage and I had the chance to briefly talk to whoever writes the music for Metal Hellsinger. And we ended up like, oh, it would be cool to work with you too. Yeah, that would be cool. And then that, it stays there. It's been said many times, in between
Uh-huh.
our artists that are meeting each other. And it happened that a little while ago, I got this mail and it's just like, hey, do you remember that day at Gamescom? I was like, yeah, well, we would love you to sing this song. And it's a song for the new DLC that is going to give the title of the DLC. And I was like, all right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This world long gone between the shimmers and the arc, excited to replace the arc. Reignite the world with me. Is it you that I will see? With my heart eternally. Reignite the world with me. Is it you that I will see? Living a life of cosmic peace. Forever dream of
It's been a pleasure to do it. And then I found out that the other singer for the DLC was Will Ramos, which was really cool because I mean I like him as a singer and it looks like a cool person. So it was pretty cool, to see us both in this DLC. I'm really happy that it happened.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I love that as you're playing, like a reward for having good rhythm, essentially having good rhythm and striking your opponent. A reward is that you eventually get vocals.
Yes.
Yes, it is
I
very rewarding.
like it. I like it. And I also see it as a sort of a recognition for metal in video games because many
Mhm.
people, especially in the new generation, have no idea that many songs they hear are from metal. Like, I don't know, Doom,
Oh,
the video
right.
game Doom, Mick Gordon. It's like, I mean, as a metal producer, he writes metal music, it works in the metal. But
Mhm.
many kids don't even know that it's metal. It's like video game music. So I'm also trying, with every time I meet someone young that it's like, oh, metal, I don't really like metal. Bullshit, because I mean, do you like this song? Do you like this song when you play? Do you like, oh yeah, I love it. That's metal. Oh,
Ooh,
ooh,
that's great.
really?
And if you go back, I feel the same that it's so exciting when you see the technology and how video game music has developed, how it's become so interactive. So I think like not only are they becoming more exposed to metal through video games, but also a lot of players are feeling more interactive with that music, almost like they're taking part in creating it. So video games are essentially helping raise a new genre of metalheads.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I love it because like years ago it was Rock Band, Guitar Hero that kind of dug into metal, but then the trend kind of stopped And I was very sorry about it. I was just like, oh, it needs to come back. And I'm so happy that Metal Hellsinger brought it back.
And
Very, very, very happy.
I really like, you mentioned Assassin's Creed earlier. I really like the way we get some sort of like folk metal elements in parts of those games. It's very interesting.
Very, very true. My favorite one is actually, I know that Assassin's Creed lover, like defenders, will think that the first Assassin's Creed are the best, the one, you know, in Italy, which are amazing. But like my favorite, for example, it's Odyssey. Because the music, the Greek vibe of the music, like kind of drawn me into the game, and I love the fact that you immediately recognize an Assassin's Creed song because the theme is always the same, and they are adapting the theme to the different releases. That's a genius thing that now you can recognize themes from video games. It's awesome. They have their own trademark.
Yeah, it's almost like John Williams or something, and you get your general theme from something, and then maybe another composer takes it over in the next part of a series and is able to shift it. I really like the way that they've hired composers for Assassin's Creed as well. You can see this stamp, and like what you're saying, you get the sense of a different world that you're entering, but it still is bringing elements from the previous one that connects the two.
Absolutely. I mean, music is so important in video games, but not only just the general soundtrack that you hear on a trailer, for example, but the music for the intro, the music for the battles, the music for the victory. It's so important because everything enhances any moment of the video game.
Yes, I really feel like metal is one of the best genres to also be collaborating with video game music, because video game music is pushing the boundaries of what we understand about composition. We've got these different layers. It needs to be able to shift at any given time. If a player goes into a more peaceful atmosphere or a battle atmosphere, it needs to be able to turn and go into something different. And so it's shifted the way that a lot of composers think about their music. It's not just 0 seconds to 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Instead, at any point, it needs to be able to expand. And there are different ways that composers are approaching that now. But metal, because it often has a lot of progressive roots, or it has so many different kinds of layers, it's very easily taken to be very aggressive, or you have this more expansive metal, like what I hear in Lacuna Coil, where it feels like these glorious long lines. And there's even times where like Metallica has these ballad kind of moments. Metal has so much variety. I think it lends itself to current video game composition.
I agree. I agree on all line. And it seems that the best music for video games are either classical music, electronic music, and metal.
Yeah. I feel that I do also, I love the classical metal crossover, because they both have what I just was talking about in so many ways. They have so many possibilities where they could go in the music, and yet they're still so different. It's awesome.
True, with all the orchestras, personalizing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I love that. That must be really cool in Lacuna Coil, I would think, too. You have a lot of different ways you can touch on different sounds, but I think that one of the biggest strengths is having your pristine, clear sound, sometimes like really powerful lines, and then you combine that with Andrea's, these like gravelly, he also does really incredible sustained harsh vocals, and it's this duet of sounds that a few years ago I wouldn't have imagined could possibly work. But now that I hear it, I feel astonished. When you guys first started coming together, did that hit you as astonished as well, or did it take you time to warm up?
When we met, there were not so many bands with a female in the lineup. Like there were very, very few bands. They asked me to write some parts. So they were producing a demo that I mean, the idea was to send this demo, which was a cassette. Can you believe that? To ship to the labels we were interested in. And which labels we were interested in, it was based on the address that was on the CD. So we would pick up all the CDs that we liked that were starting to come out, and we were saying like, okay, Typo Negative, Paradise Lost has this label. Let's send a demo tape with a little bio, which was basically not existing because, I mean, we didn't do anything before Lacuna Coil. A picture. I remember we put a picture in it. And they asked me to create some vocals just to get around Andrea. So I just wrote some lines. I just wrote some lyrics, and I sung over it. And they were like, "Wow, it's sounding really good because it's sounding different." We recorded it, and basically that was it. I always say that I was the last one entering Lacuna Coil because back then, when we were not Lacuna Coil, I was the last one entering. But then I would say Lacuna Coil started from there because we realized that it was sounding interesting and different.
Yes. And then you mentioned not that many female singers. I think it's really cool, having talked to a few others that are in the metal realm now. It seems like you were very much on the forefront of female lead singers in metal, and now there's just a great group of women. You mentioned Elisa earlier. Do you feel that camaraderie where you are just like, wow, here are these amazing women that are creating this sound with me?
I am definitely happy because, I mean, back then it was so weird because it was a male-dominated scene. I mean, because of the style itself, it was maybe a little bit more normal. But metal is also melody. Metal is not only, just like super, super aggressive and growls, and there is so much more. There is so much more. So I'm so happy that now, there are more females that are accepted the same way. And also in the crowd, it's cool to see a 50-50. At our gigs, there are many, many, many females coming to the shows, and it's cool because, I mean, music has no sense, has no sex. So what's the point? You like it, you don't like it. To me that's the question. You like it, you're in. It doesn't really matter. I don't care about your gender.
Totally. This phrase, metal is also melody, that maybe is one of the best phrases I've heard to describe why your sound is so awesome. I was talking with one of our patrons, Runa, who's a huge, huge fan of Lacuna Coil. I know at one point you'd helped get her some shot glasses, or there's this really awesome way that I think you interact with fans, and she was talking about how you guys do a lot for your community. But we were talking about also this word expansive. Like, what is it? What is the sound of Lacuna Coil? Like, how do we describe it? Because it's just so extraordinary to me.
All I know is that you can't realize destiny. Who cares? Nothing turns around, and I know that it descends down on me. It's just another day. The shame is gone. All of it fading. Now let it go, let it go, let it go.
It is a vibe, and I'm all about trying to break down and analyze things and see, like, what is it that makes it incredible. But sometimes you just have to take a step back and say, it's everything that goes together. It all happens, and then it becomes magical. It becomes expansive, and metal and melody, and the way you combine that in this beautiful, sustained way, and then add the emotion. And I feel like that helps explain a little bit more to me why your sound is so great.
Wow. Wow. I have to record this and keep it. When I'm down, I'm just like,
We'll send you the sound bite.
no, but thank you. Thank you so much for your words. But I mean, maybe also because I'm Italian. I mean, for Italians, melody and passion are really, really important. And I have a cool example just to tell you how melody can go through people's heart. In 2018, I've been one of the judges of the TV show The Voice.
Yes.
In Italy. And it's a hard process to pick up the songs that the contestants are gonna sing, because you have to pick up songs that are coming from different ears. You have to pick up songs that haven't been played before. You have to pick up songs that haven't been played in so many others, the voice around the world. But one thing I was sure, and that I wanted to play some metal. And I made it clear when I said yes, when they asked me to be one of the judges. I was like, guys, I'm not going to be anything different from who I am. So I have to bring metal. I don't want to change for the TV show. And they were like, yeah, we're going to be working on it. So in the end, I've been able to pick up a song of Manowar and one of Judas Priest. And they had a lot of melody in them, and nobody knew that it was metal. They found out after, and they were like, wow, this song is really good. I was like, metal.
Yeah.
No, it can be. Yes, it can. That is metal. That is actually metal. I mean, Manowar is metal. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they couldn't believe it, but they fell in love because of the melody of the songs, without knowing it was metal, without the preconception of like, I'm not gonna like it because I don't like metal.
Melody definitely, I think, reaches into the hearts of people. I love it. I love it. I love the way that you have this mission to bring more metal to people as well. It's beautiful. I'm curious, talking about that female voice in metal, and I know you mentioned Elisa. Are there other female vocalists in metal that just have tons of respect from you, or that you're friends with and regularly chat with? Is there a camaraderie there?
Well, I have a few friends. I'm friend with Elisa. I'm a very good friend of Simone as well. Simone
she's
Simmons
lovely.
of Epica. She's adorable. She's adorable. She's on tour now. She just sent me a message the other day. She told me like, we gotta hang out. I was like, I know, but you're always away. If you're in Brazil and I'm in the UK, how can you do that? But we're always away. Then there are some Italian ones as well. Mariangela of Tristania, Anneke of the Gathering, Mixie of Stitched Up Art. There are many. There are many.
Awesome.
I know Floor, but I'm not like super close to Floor Jansen. Many. Now, of course, brain fart. I can't remember.
I love when you speak about them.
Charlotte. Elaine. Yeah.
I've just been getting into her stuff a little bit, and I feel really impressed too.
She's adorable. She's a great person.
But it's so cool. And a lot of other genres, I would find a lot more cattiness, essentially. And when you talk about them, I don't sense that at all. It's just really admiration and compassion. That's a really beautiful thing. Do you feel like metal is a lot more friendly than other genres?
It depends. It depends who you talk to. For sure, it's, when you listen to metal, you're almost part of a lifestyle. It's cool that you just like walk in a grocery store and you meet someone with a band T-shirt, and it's like you recognize each other. I've seen a funny meme of two metalheads meeting in a truck stop. And they look at each other, and they're both wearing metal shirts, And then in their minds, they are dancing in fields, playing around flower, and it's so funny. But I found it really close to reality because metalheads are looking, very tough and always pissed, and most of them have a big heart, and they're all sweethearts.
Yes. That's so funny. I had that.
But it's a good
perception.
family. I mean, it's cool. It's
Oh,
cool that you can go to a concert not knowing anybody, and you will instantly become friend with someone anyway
right.
because of the same music you listen to. Many of our fans met with each other this way. Some of them got married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And actually, talking about your fans and your fan
Yes.
base, let's go back to that because when I've heard about you, it's been from fans that just completely adore you. We're talking about like die-hard fans. It's not people that are like, oh yeah, their music is awesome. It's people that are saying the entire band is made of the best people on earth. How do you build a community like that?
We love our fans. I mean, we never forget that if it wasn't because of them, we wouldn't be doing what we like, and that's a fact. We would still be playing probably, in our basements, in our houses, but we wouldn't be able to do it as a job. And we never forget this. So every time we have the chance, we like, to meet them, to interact with them. During the pandemic, to try to find a way to connect, I created a Twitch channel, and it was nice because it was like, to meet in a bar, telling each other what happened, and then I was doing live on Instagram, and it was cool to see, people maybe alone at home to find a way to get out of the sadness and the lockdown. So I guess, it's our little way to show them our appreciation, for all the support, for the fact that they are buying our records, they're coming to the concerts, they show their enthusiasm. And we are very lucky. We are very lucky because we build a family, a big family, more than a community of fans.
Yeah, I have to say, I feel like the pandemic really showed me that the connections that you build online are very real. Before, I think I'd always thought like online connections can be somehow just second rate. That you'd say, oh, it's online, it's not real life. But during the pandemic, when a lot of our connections were reduced to just being online, we found new ways to maybe invest ourselves in those connections.
Yes.
And it changed how I perceive online communities a lot. We'd already started building our community online, but at that point, hearing people's lives just pour out and starting to hear the stories come in of this is the connection that they have in the world, it made me realize how beautiful and valuable and important it is to nurture an online community.
No, absolutely. I mean, and some of us had the luck to spend the lockdown not being alone, but many people were completely isolated from the rest of the world.
Yes.
They couldn't meet a friend for a coffee. So to meet online was the only chance for them. It was the only way to find some life.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it seems like 10 years are gone. Like if you think about it, it was 3 years ago. Crazy,
Yeah. Oh man.
crazy.
It actually feel like it extended a lot for us because I got pregnant towards the end of lockdown, and then had young baby, which at first you don't want to expose your baby to things
Of
like
course.
COVID. So
Yeah.
it lasted a very long time, and I feel like all of that energy and love that I poured into our community, I ended up benefiting so much from that to myself because on the flip side, I was still locked down for a really long time. So it's really,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And I'm so happy that it continues, that people are continuing to make those connections, even though we are out and about again these days. Ah,
Totally, totally. Connections are always good, for multiple reasons for,
mhm.
personal growth, good vibes. Good
Yes,
vibes
good
are
vibes.
so important, the outlook on things is so important.
This is making me think of a song that I listened to that you guys made. I think it's called Save Me.
Hmm?
I'm going crazy, so close to giving up. Nothing here feels like it used to be. So I keep asking myself, will I be strong enough to face this mess? Still here begging for help. Was walking through this
Was that released before the pandemic? Right before?
No, it was before.
It was
Yeah,
before.
it
Okay.
was a yeah.
It feels like it could apply so much
Uh-huh.
to the pandemic.
Totally.
It feels like it was coming from a dark time, which I know you've had times in your life that were really hard. I'd read about a time when you lost was both your parents within a very short time span. It just sounded like it was tough. Did those lyrics come partly from that time or from a different dark time?
I do not remember what they were inspired from, but not from that period.
Okay.
That song was not inspired by that. It was more of of trying to describe what you feel when you really don't know what to do in life and you're like
Mm,
overloaded and you're asking for help. Which is not
yes.
necessarily a vocal help. It could be like a scream that you keep inside and you don't talk about it. So in the
Yes.
chorus they say, "I'm asking myself." So it's more of an inside the pressure that you can't release.
Yes. So, as somebody that is such an avid supporter for mental health and for people to get help when they need it, and maybe not even just when you need it. When you're super healthy is a great time to establish great healthy habits. So,
Yes.
do you
Yeah,
have
it's a
any?
good habit to
Yeah.
talk along the way without
Yes.
waiting for the moment in which you're like, I need help. It's a good way. I always even when I feel but not necessarily bad, I talk. I immediately, I'm super open, but I also understand that I'm an open person
Hmm.
who's willing to talk. Some people don't like to talk or are not capable to let it out. But it's so important because we are like pressure how do you call it? Like pressure pans.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys have pressure pans? Like they're pans that you cover with a lid that kind of stayed sticky on the pan and then you release the pressure and you can open the lid.
I feel like that's my Instapot.
Probably, but it's kind of like that. I don't know. I don't know how you call
People
it
are
in
Instapots, where if
but
you can seal it and build the pressure up and do some pressure cooking,
it's
essentially.
that's
Uh-huh.
exactly the same thing. At a certain point, you need to release it
Yeah.
because the pressure is building up too much. So it's important to not to let the pressure build too much inside
Hmm.
of us, and it's always worthy to talk. There will always be someone listening, even if even if it's a person that we don't know. Even if we
Hmm.
go out in a bar and just like talk to a stranger on, hey, how are you? Hey, I'm going through this. It's also helpful.
Oh,
It's helpful just to let it out.
and then I'm guessing that for you, a good pressure release would also be singing about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And listening to music, especially
Mm.
in the bad moments. I think it happens to a lot of people. Whenever I'm sad, I listen to sadder music. I listen to like super depressive music that makes me like uh, the hardest music I can listen to. And then I feel better.
There's a certain catharsis in that, I think.
Yeah. Because it's like, I don't know, you let it out maybe in a different way, or you cry about it and you feel better. But I usually, when I'm down, I do not listen to happy music.
That's fair. I feel like it's really. I had a therapist once tell me that she felt I had built my heart up so strong. I'd always been feeding my heart because I was always singing characters that, for 2 years straight, every single character I played in opera died. So it was kind of sad. And I was continually building that catharsis up essentially through those characters. But at some point for me, I actually had to go past that and start listening to energetic, happy music as well, or just music that had some rhythm and drive. Because I'd fed the sad part of myself so much. And she's like, you need to feed maybe the intellectual side too and help balance it out. And it was helpful for me to realize, oh, I have gotten the sadness out. I can actually let it be out now.
Or you were simply resonating with your body.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the vibrations were communicating with your body.
I think mental health and music are so closely tied, and it's really exciting to see many more people wanting to talk about it and honestly wanting to explore that.
It is. I spoke recently for a cool podcast that one of our cool fan did, and he works as a mental advocate because he went into an accident years ago, and he got brain surgery, and now he got out of it. So now he helps the cause, and he told me that our music helped him out of the coma. And he described everything to me, and it was very moving because I was like, wow, it's so cool that music can really drag you out.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I'm fascinated by is experiencing music with another person too. I think there's tons of research that shows that being in a community helps a person through a tough time. And when you experience music with another person, I feel not only do you have that benefit of the music on you, but there's also a feeling of building a community with somebody who's also listening to the music. So there's sort of like a double whammy of good stuff that can happen.
That is always very strange because it also depends on what type of listener you are. For example, I am more a listener of the old vibe, of the old emotion of the song. My boyfriend, for example, he plays bass. So whenever he listens to a song, he listens to all the parts, how they're built, the notes. It's a way more cold analysis of the song, which is the opposite of what I do. So if we would listen to the same song together, I would be like, oh yeah, listen to this. And it would be more analytic. So it's always strange because every person has a different way of listening to music. And I find it disturbing when I really love a song and I'm like, hey, listen to the song because I love it. It's so cool. And someone is like, I like this song better. I'm like,
how dare you like that song?
How dare you? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to listen to my music whenever I want.
That's funny. Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. But I also don't take offense when people aren't really into opera. It's okay. I'm like, someday you might see the light. But I think all music
takes time.
It takes
time.
It does.
It takes time. Years ago, rap music was not popular in Italy. Now it's everywhere. So
oh my gosh,
knows?
right?
Who knows?
Well, I have some questions from some patrons that I'd love to ask you. Speaking of community, I love this first one. Is coming from Runa, who I mentioned earlier, who said, "If you could have a video game custom built for your enjoyment, what would it look like?"
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh,
Whoa.
that's a great question.
I would, well, the first thing that comes to my mind, I would love to be a villain. It would have to be an action game for sure. But then the second thought is like, it could be something iconic like a Tomb Raider,
Oh yeah.
but with my face. There you go.
That's amazing. Okay.
Just because it's so iconic, it would be just funny too.
Is this going to be a
Just
simulator?
funny.
Or is it going to be RPG?
Like a real Tomb Raider, maybe even old style, as it
Oh.
was like in the very beginning, something
Is it going to be
something old school.
cross-platform, Switch?
I don't know. But that's just the first idea. But I mean, I had the chance to be a playable character in I am a playable character in the official video game of Iron Maiden called Legacy of the Beast, which is cooler. So Legacy of the Beast, the Dream of the Beast. The Beast is always coming out from my work. Diablo 2. Diablo
Yes.
22.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's a constant in my life. Not many know that I am also an NPC on one of the World of Warcraft on
Ooh.
Shadowlands. Yes,
Oh, on
the
Shadowlands, okay.
character. Yeah. But if it had to be a new video game, I don't know. Yeah, I said Tomb Raider, but if it was a new game, maybe something in the way of God of War, Ragnarok,
Oh my gosh.
maybe.
I
don't
haven't
know.
played that one yet. I've heard so many great things.
It's incredible. It
Yeah.
is a great, great, great game.
I mean, it's
Or
been-
a character on Elden Ring.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Wow.
one. Souls-like with me as a main character. There you go. Done. Done
Wow.
deal.
Man, last year had so many great games. Okay. Wow. Oh, games are incredible. Okay. Ruben wants to know, from collabs with the likes of Iron Maiden, and Megadeth to Tarja and Arion, you've had some amazing adventures. Which collabs would you still like to do one day? And he adds, personally, I'm really hoping for a powerful song with Simona.
Yeah. Well, I sung with Simone, but on stage only. We didn't record anything, but I got the chance, to be on stage with Epica, and she's been on stage with Lacuna Coil when we toured together. There are many people that I would love to collaborate with. I always mention Jonathan Davis because I love Korn, but I also like his side projects, and I also know him and is a great person. I mean, so I also like him as a person. Then other names, I don't know, maybe Rammstein, even if we are completely different. But who knows? Maybe a song in German, Italian.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, who knows? Could be
It's
something
so nice
strange.
to sing in your actual mother tongue. It's frustrating. It's singing in a bunch of different languages. I have lots of experience with that too, and it is hard to always be singing in other languages.
That could be awkward. And then I don't know. So many good bands and artists. Too many.
Cool. Those were really different answers, all of them, and I love all of those ideas.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
We have Arnold Naderpelt who wanted to know, between Metal Hellsinger and Diablo 2, which are wildly different games, what type of video game do you think best fits your style of music?
Well, my style of music, Metal Hellsinger, because Diablo, I mean, the song that I did was not in the game. I was in the presentation for the game. So it was still official. It was still backed up, for Blizzard. But it's, I mean, the music for Diablo, it's more evocative, more instrumental, and you needed to create a certain kind of vibe that gets you, through the dungeons and the Diablo world.
Eternal conflict embraces lies and sin. Witness the passion coming in. I close my eyes and chase the danger through the gates of. Through the gates of.
While in metal Hellsinger, everything is more dynamic, more open. You have different weapons, different skins. So for the music that I usually sing, I think that metal Hellsinger is more appropriate.
Is there another game that's out there, maybe not one of those two, that you feel that you haven't collaborated on yet, but you feel like your music is a shoo-in?
It would be cool to do when there is some action, maybe like a very, very heavy song for something like, I don't know, Call of Duty. Something
Okay.
that gets you in the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think about other games that I like, like a Destiny. It's more
I was thinking
space,
Destiny, but the expansiveness in your sound and could work on a really heavy Destiny scene, maybe.
It depends on the music, but I'm not sure. Maybe a new game that's not even out.
Maybe it would work really well in a board game.
Yeah, I think my voice fits perfectly. Yes, on the board game.
I hear rumors that maybe something is already in the works for a board game.
Oh yeah. Something has been already recorded for the table game Zombicide, YDEF. And I'm so happy about it because, we are nerds, so we already knew Zombicide. Zombicide is such an iconic table game that's been around for a few years. And it's been such an honor, when they asked us, like, hey, we would like you guys, to collaborate for because we're putting out a trailer for the Kickstarter of the game, and it would be cool if you guys could do something. So it started with an instrumental idea from Marco, our bass player, and then we said, like, we should really make a Lacuna Coil song, with it, because it's starting to sound killer. And we added more music, more arrangements, voices over it. We recorded it, and it is ready. So the music, it's already in the trailer. The voice has not been revealed, but it will be out pretty soon. But it's great. And also what's cool is that in the Kickstarter, there are our miniatures as well. It's just exclusive for the Kickstarter, but there are 5 miniatures of the survivors. So that means that you can really play with a mini Cristina, with a mini Maki, with a mini.
Wait, is this Kickstarter still rolling? Can I get in on it?
Yes, it's still going. I think there are still 6 days left, and it's crazy.
Oh my gosh!
It's. I think it's over almost 2 million raised, like more than 12,000 backers. It's crazy. It was very, very successful. And everything was so surreal because it's already a pleasure and a honor to create music for something so iconic. And we know the guys in Come On who produces the game. And we were already getting along perfectly. But now to actually create something tangible like this, it's amazing. I saw the images of my miniature. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm gonna be able to paint myself. I'm gonna be able to play with myself, with a in the game, of course, with the miniature. Mature audience.
Oh my gosh, I feel a little bit bad for everybody that's going to see this interview when it gets published, because by that
I
time, I
know.
think the Kickstarter will be done, but I will have already gotten in on it. So
Yeah.
y'all can be jealous of the action figures that I will get at some point, because I'm going to go do that after this interview.
Yeah, I'm gonna repost something on my socials, because I know that many people are not checking, every day what's going on in our world, so they might have missed it.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. Andrew Warwick wants to know, which first inspired you, video games or music? And was there a connection between the two?
Well, music first, because I started. I was a gamer when I was really young already. The first game that I can remember I played with was Pitfall on Atari
Wow.
2600. So it was an old console.
Yeah.
And then, I have my own Game Boy and DS, and I got my first PlayStation, but I wasn't creating music back then. I was playing, but that wasn't inspiring music. I think that I got even more connected to the video game world after I started to make music, because I got a long stop in which I was touring with the band, and there were no consoles on the bus or anything to play with, no Switch, no nothing like this, nothing as it is right now. Now you go on any bus, and most of the times there is a console. Back in the years, there was nothing like this. So it's something that I got back to after I started playing. So music first, then video games.
I didn't realize that most buses have consoles on them now. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Wait, first, we also had our own consoles. So we had an Xbox 360 for a long period, because we were playing Doom. In the back lounge. We also had some PlayStations. Some buses already have it. If you ask them, they're going to be putting it there for you as soon as you rent it.
That's awesome.
Kind of nice.
Perks of touring.
Exactly, the luxury.
Emily Weatherwell wanted to know, and I'm really curious about this one too, which is why I didn't talk about it yet. Not sure if you play D&D, but if you do, what is your favorite class/archetype to play? Ha-ha! Boom.
I am a barbarian, because I just like to go. I have zero patience, zero stealth, zero capacity of healing others, zero capacity of casting, which is kind of strange, because in the miniature of Zombicide, I'm gonna be I think I'm gonna be a sort of a necromancer, so I have weird things coming out of my hands. But reality is that even in video games, I just go and smash, like She-Hulk. I don't think I just destroy stuff. So I'm like, okay, guys, I just go and break things. So.
Is there a particular race you like to play?
I tried the different races. I've been a dark orc as well, not a regular one. I'm not into orcs, but dark orcs. Yeah. But mostly human barbarian.
Human barbarian. I have to say, I really love tieflings. There's something about them that's just it feels mischievous.
They are cool, but the reality is that even when I try to be more cool with my character, I always end up not thinking and destroying things. So I came to the point that I was born to be a barbarian, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
It's your fatal flaw. Whenever you're doing your character building, you're like, fatal flaw. Just wants to smash.
Yeah, they know it already. They're just like, okay, paper, schedule, Cristina Barbarian. They know.
That's awesome. Okay, and quirky Uncle Dave wants to know, thinking back over a long career, some artists may still have a fondness for their early performances, while others would just as well forget they existed. How do you feel today about the recordings of 1990s Cristina? And what would be the earliest song/recording that you would still proudly recommend people listen to?
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, thoughtful.
Well, when I listen to the old recordings, it's weird because back then the technology was completely different. We
Oh
were
yeah.
recording in analog. So I remember it was a pain in the ass because if now you record something that you really like, but you dislike the rest, you can start from that point and go on and build up the song that you would like to hear as a result. Back then, it was click, erase, record over it, erase, redo it again. It was a pain in the ass. It took a much longer time,
Mm.
and that I don't miss. Um, I don't dislike the fact that back then maybe everything was less processed
Yeah.
because obviously the sound changes. Also, also the taste of whoever is listening changed throughout the years. So everything kind of evolved.
Hmm.
So I miss the fact that music was more raw back then because I'm still in love with all the records that I heard from that I hear from other bands that
Yeah.
are very poorly recorded, but I love them. Um, but then I also think that sometimes we are in love with a record because we remind our life back then when this record was released.
Yeah.
Not really because of the quality of the record, but because every record carries a baggage of memories with it. The song that I would recommend, oof, uh, of a very old song. Oh my goodness. Maybe, maybe My Wings or No Need to
Oh.
Explain because they were
Oh.
kind of because they were different from the classic metal song you would expect, especially My Wings.
Not going to fall.
I actually haven't heard that one yet, so I'm going to listen to that. I did hear No Need to Explain.
Yes.
I sort of just went on a fun deep dive, you know,
Yeah,
which,
it was so weird. Like back then, I mean, even with clicks, and now you play with click. To be more
huh?
precise, drummers have this. Back then, it was totally random in most of the records. It was just like a time that was going faster and slower from
Yeah.
1 minute to another. It was an adventure. Recording was an adventure back then.
Man. And I agree. I think there's there's a little something to be missed about that because our heart rates don't stay the same all the time. They speed
True.
up or slow down depending on how excited we are or what all is happening in life. So I think it's really natural and it can influence our emotions if the music speeds up and slows down too. But for production purposes, it is way easier to produce with a click track.
Yeah, but that's actually really good. The fact that you compared it with the heartbeat is makes all the sense to me.
Yeah.
I also miss the fact that back then every recording was really a special project because not everybody was recording a song. I mean, now with computers, even with cell phones, you can actually make a song. You
Yeah.
can write a song. Back then, it was only for the ones that really wanted to make it, really wanted to invest money in a recording, and people were religiously waiting for the release of a record. So the magic was completely different. Now it's like, yeah, you know that there will be a release and then maybe the album is out 1 week prior because someone leaked it. So the magic is kind of lost. And that I miss a lot.
Huh.
I still wait for the release date for the records that I like. Um, I still appreciate, the waiting
Hmm.
of a release date.
I wonder, us talking about video game releases and now record releases, and it almost feels like video game releases are similar to old record releases.
Yeah, yeah.
Has so much.
With video games, I'm not that good because I'm always in a hurry. So if I get the game in advance, I had to play it. I suck.
I wonder if it'll be easier to. It's definitely becoming easier and easier to make video games. So maybe we'll see something like that in the future. I'm curious. Just thoughts.
I think that it will becoming more and more real. Now definitely AI
Oh yeah.
is gonna make everything maybe more creepy in a way. Because I mean, what I like about video games is the fact that can still uh, split them from a movie.
Yes.
I like the fact that I can still see that it's a video game and it's not a real person doing that. I think that the day they will make games that are so real that look like reality, I will not be that happy.
I wonder
Maybe, who knows?
if
Who
we have
knows?
AI making video games, if the characters will have like 10 fingers on each hand, or Have
Well,
you
now
seen
it's
that?
already crazy. I mean, I have a VR. I have the
Yeah.
new VR, and it's insane. But it's still a video game because you are
Yeah.
projected into the video game. You are still doing things. I mean, if you're grabbing, a knife, or if you have to grab a piece of paper, it's still a designed hand that does it. It's not
Yeah.
your real hand. It will creep me out if it was my real hand.
We'll have
It,
gloves
it,
soon.
Exactly. So it's the same movement, but it's not my own hand. But
Huh.
they will get there. It's
Yeah.
kind of creepy. You put the VR the first time, and it kind of maps the room you're in, and that is already the future. It's like, oh my goodness,
All right.
so good
I
though, so good.
love a particular VR game called Beat Saber. And for me, I think that Lacuna Coil should make an album that
Huh.
is for Beat Saber, because I would love to just smash blocks and do that as if I was a member of the band in Lacuna Coil. I think that would be really awesome.
Let's do
Someday.
it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
that'd be great. Well, just to sort of wrap things up, I have a couple questions. One is something we've been alluding to this whole conversation, which is essentially you've had a very long spanning career. You've been doing this for a long time already, but you're still super, super fresh. What keeps it fresh for you?
I think the curiosity of see what's around, the feeling of not feeling arrived. I mean, it
Hmm.
doesn't really matter if someone tells me, "Oh, yeah, you're an established singer in metal." I mean, I have so many things to discover. Like, look at all this new gaming and nerd market who opened up for me. I mean, a few years ago, you would have never think about seeing me on Twitch
Mhm.
or on a video game singing for a song. So there are always new opportunities, and I like them all. I mean, I'm a very, very curious person. I want to experiment and to try new things, meet new people, to nourish my life. I don't want to sit down just because I did something and just like, okay, and that's gonna be it, because I would find it boring.
Yeah.
So to be curious in life is the key, and also not to think about age, because that's another thing that I get asked a lot, because apparently I look younger than I am, and everybody's like, "What's your secret?" And it's like, the secret is not to think about the age. I don't think about age. I
Oh,
do. I don't care. I
I
really do
love
not
that.
care. Some people think that you have to do something related to decades of your life, and if you don't make them, it's strange, and it's like, whatever. I mean, whatever. Live life. Do what you like if you're respecting other people. Who cares?
That's
Do what
good.
makes you happy.
Be curious. Don't think about age. Do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy. That's, that's very, very important.
I love
Yes.
it. And
Because when
how
you're
can
happy,
we?
you're positive, you spread good vibes, and good things happen.
True. I feel that keenly. um, how can we support you in continuing to do awesome things that make all of us really happy?
I'm very present on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on Twitch whenever I can.
Yes.
I stream, with just chatting, or I play video games, and then come to see Lacuna Coil. We're gonna be on tour very soon, not only in the US, but we'll also be on some summer festivals. We're gonna be coming back in the States for a cruise with Lamb of God and other amazing bands.
That's awesome.
You can find us obviously on Spotify and on Apple Music and all around on the music channels. So yeah, and if you meet us on the streets, just come by, take a picture, talk to us. We don't bite.
And we can buy your artwork sometimes, right? In the form of merch or just things that you've drawn. I've heard
Yeah,
about this.
that's a thing that I do when I'm on tour. We use drum skins,
So
and
cool.
I draw on them, and we make like some pieces of one of a kind art.
That's really, really cool.
It's cool. I like to draw, and it's a cool way, to keep it going. It's a special thing for the fans.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for nerding out
Absolutely
with
welcome.
me and talking about all the awesome video games. I want to make a final cheers to you.
Cheers to you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.